Uh-oh, this is exciting. We have two individuals. We're gonna have Bryce Mullican and Herbert Brown. Now, Bryce, I believe I remember you from a few years ago. I believe I met you, and I just met Herbert this morning. So I want to tell you a little bit about Herbert so you can know more about him. He's a recent graduate of the James Earl Jones Deep Voice Institution. He works very hard. I asked him if he played music because he has a cool little nickname. He'll tell you about that. And I asked him if he played music, and he said, no, I'm a DJ. That's tantamount to saying, oh my gosh, are you a photographer? No, but I hang pictures. Bruh, it's not the same. It's just really not. But you know what? I'm gonna work with you because you're doing stuff for kids. So I'm gonna work with you on that. And Bryce, I'm gonna see you a little later because I remember you. And if I remember you correctly, I was so rude to you in Jackson 2 years ago. So I wanna make sure I'm gonna give you a virtual hug. There it is. That's that good stuff right there. All righty. So ladies and gentlemen, no further ado. We're gonna bang our hands together. Give it up for the awesome Bryce and Herbert.
Oh yeah. How's everybody doing today? Gonna have a funky good time at the MagnoliaJS 2021 conference. Hey, how's everybody doing? Where's Bryce? Is Bryce here? Is Bryce on? Anyway, okay, let me, I'm gonna share my screen. We'll get this thing rolling. At some point, yes, I need to share my screen. The joys of Zoom. I love it. So, as Ken stated, I am Herbert Brown, also go by Satch. That's me. I am, and there we go. I'm an instructor for the Mississippi Coding Academy, and I'm going to talk to you about that in uno momento. Share. Let's see, let's try this one more time. Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. So yes, again, my name is Herbert Brown, and I am an instructor for the Mississippi Coding Academies. I have been an instructor for the Academy since right before we launched in 2017. And I also have Bryce Mullican. Bryce, you on? Who is also a fellow instructor for the Academy. So again, that's me, Satch, that's what I go by, instructor, recruiter, and doer of stuff. My Twitter handle, Blue Satch, also Satch Work, which I try to lend that one more towards my development stuff, but I got to get my clientele up on that. Some of the things that I enjoy doing, reading, writing, I do enjoy working out. Settlers of Catan, I'm very big on that. As Ken stated, I'm also a DJ. I go by DJ Daddy Bug. And as you can see, this is my actual collection. I'm a huge collector of vinyl, and there is no S. The plural of vinyl is in fact vinyl. But that's a little bit about me. There's also the legendary Bryce Mullican. I don't know if he's here. You can unmute yourself, Bryce. But instructor for the Coding Academy, the Code Wizard, master of Google Food, and you might be able to catch him on at Bryce Mullican. There he is, getting set up. You good now?
Hey.
Hey, there you go. All right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, right. You're right on time. You want to go ahead and introduce
wow,
yourself?
the legendary.
Yeah.
Okay, the legendary Bryce Mullican. Yep. Hi everybody. My name is Bryce Mullican. My Twitter handle is @BryceMullican. I'm an instructor, code wizard, and master of Google Foo, like any good developer should be, right? Yeah, my hobbies, definitely, I like to blame my children. When everybody sees Legos all over my house, I say that it's they belong to my children, not me, but that's not true. They all belong to me. In fact, my children even say they're daddy's Legos. So yeah, I enjoy Legos. I am an anime fan. I enjoy traveling with my family and constantly learning new things. I'm in a constant state of learning, which is, again, something that all developers share, I would say.
So I want to talk a little bit about what we do here at the Mississippi Coding Academy. So what we are an 11-month course where we teach the fundamentals of full stack web development. Again, we've been around since 2017, and we're actually going into our 5th cohort coming up in July, actually. So what we do is we take individuals, some of them with zero experience in programming prior to the enrollment, and we put them in this workspace simulated environment, giving them the skills for entry-level positions as a junior web developer. Traditionally, when we started, and I'll get a little more into that later, but our focus was on recent high school graduates. So individuals, fresh out of high school, or say 3 or 4 years removed from high school. That was our target demographic initially, but since then, because of just the demand of what we do and what we offer, we've kind of expanded that to pretty much anybody that wants to learn. At the Academy, there is minimal lecture. Between myself and Bryce, we'll do about 45, maybe an hour and a half of lecture every single day. The rest of the time is actually doing the work. So therefore, it is very comprehensive. We cover as much as we can in the amount of time that we have, and we try to go as in depth as possible with everything, not just teaching a specific language, but more so teaching computational thinking. And with that, there's also no homework or grades. As I stated, this is a workplace simulated environment. And the analogy that I always like to use is nobody goes to work to sit and listen to anybody for 8 hours a day. That job would suck. So we don't do that here at the Academy. It is really, hands-on doing the work. And lastly, there are 2 courses. We have a day course and we have an evening course. Our day courses are Monday through Friday, 9 to 3:30, and the evening course is Monday through Thursday, 6 to 8:30. And that was our focus for the evening course, is working adults. So yeah, now I get into like how we started. And by the way, like if you have any questions or any comments or anything, feel free to leave that in the chat. I did want to have some space for questions, for a little Q&A once we get finished with this presentation, because I didn't do like a million slides, because that again would suck. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything you want to follow up on, feel free to just put in the chat and we'll address it. Anyway, how we got started. So the story of the Mississippi Coding Academy, it began way back in 2017. The Mississippi Development Authority, they were trying to address the brain drain, trying to figure out what they could possibly do to curtail all of the young talent leaving the state of Mississippi. So they partnered with Innovate Mississippi, kind of put their heads together to think about how they could grow, how the state actually could grow its own talent and retain that talent here. So one of the things that they found out about was Basecamp Coding Academy in Water Valley, Mississippi. And if I have Basecamp or anybody from Basecamp present, I would love to give them a shout out right now because they are the inspiration for the Coding Academy. Basecamp in small little Water Valley, Mississippi, they're doing huge things there. They created this academy, 11 months, where they take high school graduates, young people right out of high school, and teach them the fundamentals of full stack web development. And so myself, matter of fact, my very first day with the academy, I went up to Water Valley and I visited Basecamp. Went there, kind of saw what they were doing, how they were doing things. They had a 2-person team, a coding instructor and a classroom manager. And that was my role initially, the classroom manager, because I was a teacher at Lanier High School for 4 years. And so that was February 2017. They got the inspiration. Again, August 2017, that's when I come on to the team. I had zero experience in programming. I had done a few workshops on computer science and trying to teach computer science to middle school kids probably 10 years ago now. But prior to that, I hadn't done anything dealing with programming. So we August 2017, we had a roster of 40 individuals to choose from by Jackson Public Schools who were graduating in 2017 to be potential students for our first class. So by the time I joined the team, all of those kids except for one were interested in joining the academy. Most of them, by the time I was able to reach out to them, they had decided that they were going to go to college, or they were moving out of state, or just weren't interested in coding anymore. So one of the very first things I had to do was try to build the first class from scratch. And so that meant me making a lot of cold calls, going to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and asking around, is anybody interested in this class? Any high school kids or just graduated, you're interested in learning how to code, come to the academy. So here I am, somebody who has zero coding experience, had zero young people to work with. And here I am trying to build this initially, from scratch with pretty much nothing at all. But anyways, between August and October, we were able to get enough participants to be involved. And so on October 23rd of 2017, we launched the first cohort here in Jackson with 16 coders on that first day. And then shortly after, I would say maybe a couple of months, the Golden Triangle location, they launched their academy. They had, I believe, 15 coders on the very first day. And they were initially in Columbus, Mississippi, but since then they have moved to Starkville, located on Mississippi State's campus. So that first year was very much a lot of bumps, a lot of bruises, a lot of trying things out, a lot of things working, a lot of things that didn't work at all. And then August 2018, Bryce comes in. Yay. And Bryce, I want you, if you don't mind, I'd like you to share kind of like the things that you saw initially, and then like what prompted the changes in the curriculum.
Sure. So when I joined the academy, I know that, traditionally they had Python was their learning language. Yay, Python. But I really felt like JavaScript was the way we should be heading. But also wanted to be able to give students, early learners, the opportunity to immediately see results and what they were doing. And I really felt like HTML and CSS was really the way to make that happen. Because when I joined the academy, they were doing Python and doing more, honestly, more programming logic from the very beginning. And it was a little bit heavy in terms of some of the computer science concepts that may be a little intimidating to people first joining into a program. So I did two things. I made JavaScript our learning language, and I reordered the curriculum because they did have HTML and CSS in the curriculum, but it was actually towards the end of the program. So I kind of flip-flopped the curriculum, made HTML and CSS first to give them an easy win, or as I like to say, kind of like a walk-in pool, right? It's a nice slow entry. They immediately get to see things visually on the screen. It's something that you can on your computer show other people. You can send it to people and it'll work on their computer, right? There's no setup. Opening up an index.html file can happen anywhere. So that was one of the main reasons behind that, is to give students an easy win and to lower the bar, frankly, at the beginning of the course, so they didn't feel as overwhelmed. And obviously, again, changed the learning language to JavaScript.
Cool. Right on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Nope. And when I first arrived, was actually the end of the first cohort and the beginning of the second cohort. And when I first joined, I was actually, the two classes overlapped just a little bit. So I was running upstairs and running downstairs to teach both classes at the same time, because we had them separated on different floors. So I got some good exercise that first year. Maybe we should always split the class so I get that exercise. But yeah, that's how I began, and that's how I chose to change the curriculum.
Cool. Yes, and that was major. I think, especially for me, I'll say, learning myself, as a matter of fact, just how to just become a programmer, and it made sense to me. I'm thinking, why aren't we doing HTML and CSS first? Why aren't we doing the front end first? That seemed to make more sense to me. And then when Bryce came in and he made that pivot, I'm like, oh, okay, yes, I'm not as stupid as I look all the time. Here we got something going here. So, anyways, so where are we headed now? So, well, before that, I would like to mention that we're completing our fourth cohort this week. We are slated to have about 16 graduates this year, and so to me, this class is particularly special. All the cohorts are special to me. This one is particularly special, obviously, because of COVID, and we have had to go virtual the entire course this year, and it's brought along, a lot of challenges, also a lot of opportunities. So just knowing the work that this cohort's put in this year in particular, it's really, really amazing to me, because having to sit in front of a computer for 7.5, 8 hours a day learning and listening to me or Bryce for that long, that could be a bit of a drag. So I do want to commend them on that. So where we're headed now, we are growing the academy. We will have a new location in South Jackson at the DSC Training Academy. DSC Training Academy is a school, if you will, that promotes non-traditional jobs for women. Actually, it's a huge truck driving school, and the founder is a woman by the name of Willie Jones. She contacted me shortly before COVID, thinking about how we can partner with each other. And since then, we made a decision that she'll house an academy there at DSC. So we'll have 2 locations in Jackson, Mississippi. We'll also have a location in Biloxi, Mississippi. So we'll have a new one there as well. So that's actually, I believe, 4 locations that the Mississippi Coding Academy will be housed and working with young people. Also, we are growing here in Jackson from 25 to 30 coders to 80. So that's going to be really huge. And I'm just kind of looking forward to that, just that experience of how we're able to take the things that we've been doing and just kind of expand it, just offer it to a lot more individuals. As I stated before, initially when we started, it was, we wanted to work with kids that were coming right out of high school and put them on this path. And since then, it's grown into so much of to a much bigger thing. We're able to, work with anybody that has the time and wants to learn programming. And with COVID, one of the things that we found that we can do is, through virtual learning is, we can cast a wider net. We will have an individual potentially who lives in Nigeria. I told her, I was like, look, there's a huge time difference and everything that's going to be, really different. But, if this works, then that makes us global. And to me, that just the opportunity for the Mississippi Coding Academy, potentially becoming a global organization, I just couldn't pass that up. So there's a lot that's happening here at the Academy, and I really, really do want to thank, MagnoliaJS, everybody that's sitting on this presentation, because, I want, to create a lot more of you all, of you guys, programming, obviously, and I'm preaching to the choirs, it is the next level of thinking in the world. So, how can we create more thinkers, right, and more doers in this field? So it's like, I even if I don't ever talk to everybody here in this at this conference, I do look to people and just see, what are the things that we need to do? How can we make the academy better so that our coders, our codlings can be more like their role models, which is you guys. So yeah, I'm always looking to learn, push myself even further to make this academy grow as much as it can. So I really do want to thank everybody just being an inspiration, just not only to me, but to the coders that we work with. Is there any questions about anything? Let me check in my chat.
And there's a few in the Q&A section as well. Let's see, I'll try and hit them. Mike says he's a huge fan of rural sourcing versus offshoring. I'm concerned about data infrastructure. How's the internet backbone data infrastructure for the state? Is it focused on larger towns? Are you approaching ways to get mobile hotspots and other resources in candidates' hands? Honestly, if that were something that we could do, we absolutely would. We actually have a partnership with Comcast, and we know that some of the programs that Comcast offers for low income families to be able to give them access. In reality, yes, data infrastructure is focused more on larger towns. But we have local companies like Comcast and C Spire definitely trying to close that divide. Because I know that C Spire has the rural broadband consortium, and they are attempting to again close that gap in terms of getting digital access into individuals that live in rural Mississippi. And obviously, I feel like some of the future technologies in terms of maybe some of the newer satellite technologies will help solve that as well at a reasonable barrier to entry. Anna Juan says, in your experience, what is the preferred order of exposure to programming? Well, with my own kids, I started with little baby books. This is HTML and this is CSS. I absolutely feel like in terms of young adults, children or young adults, their exposure to programming needs to be all about logic. Everything begins, to me, programming, and this is my opinion, programming begins with learning about logic. I actually like doing manipulative work, meaning actually having like cups and cotton balls and things like that, and popsicle sticks, and teaching logic through manipulatives where they can get their hands on materials. That's what I do with my children, because I feel like moving directly into electronics or moving into trying to get them to code, whether that's through Scratch or something like that, I would much rather focus on logic. Because as most of us know, at the end of the day, once you learn one language, learning additional languages becomes so much easier. So I try to focus less on any language and more on teaching strategies and program and logic and how to actually work through those problems. And that's actually something that we really focus on at the Academy as well, is try to focus on those concepts over teaching you a specific language. And Awan says, this sounds like great longitudinal data, not only for workforce development for state, but also shift and just-in-time trading for coding. Yep. Is there some preliminary data to share? Yes.
We have it. We can get it to you.
I would not be the person. I unfortunately would not be the person to share that data. There you go.
Yeah, we have that
see.
data. I could try to share it through Discord. I just had to locate it, but I know we do have that data.
Okay. Does a student need to relocate during this next year's cohort? No. We're doing a blended approach, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna.
They need to relocate. Yeah. That. Okay. Let's see. Did you develop your own customized curriculum or are you using some curated list of resources? Would you mind sharing? We created our own curriculum. Obviously, it was originally, again, like you said, we started with the curriculum from Water Valley, but then we modified it pretty heavily to meet our needs. Yes, it is very web development centric. JavaScript is our learning language, but we try and cover programming concepts as well as some some computer science concepts, algorithms, etc. Let's see.
One thing about that, to clarify, JavaScript is the teaching language here in Jackson. One of the things that we're able to do with the Academy is we're able to modify the curriculum as much as we need to kind of meet the demands of the region, and it is specific to the instructors. So our instructor in the Golden Triangle location, he is C-based programmer. So I believe C# is the teaching language that is there, and with the location in Biloxi, wherever the background of the instructor and the needs down there on the coast, that will more than likely be the programming language. So we're able to, because we're not language specific, we're able to use, teach any multiple languages really.
Yeah, so I'm seeing lots of questions. Let's see. Besides working with the trucking school, how does the academy aid students in getting jobs, starting careers after the program? Besides doing things like resume building, we have some processes that we follow at the academy called our external evaluations. Our external evaluations are bringing in individuals from local companies, whether they are coders themselves, from the HR department, IT, and then all of our students are evaluated by external individuals. And this is a great opportunity for companies to see the work that we're doing. We've had lots of individuals hired directly out of these evaluations. But beyond that, we have individuals that at the academy that are trying to create relationships with companies in order to fill positions or create positions at companies that do not currently have a development team. I'm trying to answer these kind of as quickly as I can.
What success stories do you have placing people in roles? The person who asked the question is one of our success
I was about to say
stories.
The person who asked the question.
Yeah.
There was this one guy.
Yeah. There's this one guy, who was calling me shortly before the academy started and was interested in enrolling now and years later. No, but there's so many actually. I look at it personally, anytime, we take individuals who have this burning desire to learn programming, or, who haven't even, the idea of programming wasn't even on their radar. Anytime we take any one of those individuals and we develop them and, they learn the skill to the point where they're ready to start their career as a JDev, I mean, that's a huge success. And it would take honestly, it would take a whole nother session for us to share those stories. But I mean, we have plenty of them.
Wow. Yeah, man, these questions are rolling in, man. I did see Rodney Norris said that Nashville Software School switches up backend language between cohorts to help not flood the market with a single language. And that's actually between the different locations at the academy. That's what we solve in that manner.
Right.
But again, and I want to stress this very heavily, that JavaScript is our learning language, but we are very heavy in terms of teaching strategies and concepts over a specific language and a specific syntax. We've actually had multiple students leave the program and not go into writing JavaScript at all, because of the strategies that we taught them and their ability to learn, right? Because that's one of the important parts also about the academy, is that we teach and we teach a specific language, yes, but ultimately the students learn how to learn. And frankly, that's something that they may have not done in their entire educational career, is actually learning how they as an individual learn. Learning how to learn is a very important concept. So yes, we use JavaScript as our front end and back end language. Obviously, we do full stack JavaScript. But it's more about the concepts that we teach, and it's more about the flexibility that we try to create within the students that hopefully, allows them to move into whatever roles that they need to, and write in whatever language that they ultimately end up in. Because we have, again, like you, as stated, local businesses have different languages that they use in-house, but we've also had great success in students moving into those positions. But it also comes down to having a company or a business that is willing to work with a junior developer, who is willing to foster that, right? because there's a lot of benefits to bringing on a junior developer that you can then internally grow inside of your company. As long as you have an individual that has the desire to learn and desire to grow, that is ultimately what you are looking for as to me as an employee. Yes, a lot of companies need someone who can hit the ground running and just start banging out code. We understand that, but there's also a lot of businesses who also have the opportunity and time that they can bring someone in, foster that individual, and grow them within the company. And that is something that has also happened very strongly within the companies that we work with. Obviously, one of the companies we work with is MEMA here in Mississippi, and MEMA has actually hired, I think at this point, we're looking at 8 or 9 of our students.
Right.
And some of them, and MEMA understands that they may only be here for a short time and then they're going to move on, but MEMA has been willing to be a place for some of these students to grow a little bit and to get a little bit more experience in the field before moving on. Bob at MEMA has definitely been very supportive of that, and several other individuals at MEMA. And we have other companies that do the same, that want to foster these young developers. They know that they may not stay, more than a year, and that's great. As long as they're willing to create that pipeline and move individuals through their program, that is exactly kind of the stuff that we're looking for.
We got a lot of questions. Like,
I know, I'm trying to.
We're tired. It's.
How are we doing? Oh, actually, we have like, what, 3 minutes?
If that.
All right. So how much career prep do you do? Data structure and algorithm work, whiteboarding, mock interviews? Actually, we don't, other than our external evaluation process, we don't really do whiteboarding and mock interviews. I feel like there's plenty of services, or there's plenty of places that you can actually do that. Obviously, we have, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we do. Yes, I will try to answer additional questions on Discord. I'm being told that I am out of time. I need to be quiet. But I will try to, any of these additional questions, I will try to get answered here in the Q&A or in Discord. So I appreciate everybody's time. Herb,
yes, thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for the questions, and just giving us the opportunity to be on here and present. Peace, power, and blessings to you all. Thank you.